Hello, financial queens. Welcome back to Money Moves the Rich Woman Way. And I am your host, Wendy K.E., a woman excited about her journey towards financial freedom.
And I am Starlene Baraka. I am very enthusiastic about money, especially when it comes to women. I love seeing them take charge. And I believe that we can, if one person can do it, we can all do it.
Of course. And on this podcast, this is where we empower women about finances. This is the podcast where we talk about mindset. The podcast where, the movement of building financial freedom for women is talked about, one smart decision at a time, right? Of course. But before we dive into the topic of today, we would love to take a moment to clarify something important. So maybe Starlene, you could take our audience through that.
Yeah, so on our last podcast, we had a lot of punchlines, things we could not explain. And one of the things that came up really, really huge for us was the feedback we were getting from the men. They were feeling like maybe it's being attacking, or like that feeling of you guys anti-feminist, but we just want to clarify and say, in as much as you're talking about women and it's a podcast about women, it's not against men,
Not at all.
And we are saying that men, if you're watching this, if you're a man and you're watching this, we need you in this journey. We cannot do this journey without you. Even the person who inspired us on this journey, Kim Kiyosaki, she got on this journey because the husband helped her to get on that journey. So we are not against you. We're not against the fact that you are able to provide. We're not against the fact that you are there. All we are saying is, even you being there, we would like to be our own person, have financial freedom, and be able to move with abundance, even as we support you and as we are loved by you and all this stuff.
Of course. So in a nutshell, this is a podcast meant for both men and women, right? If you look at it from a point of when a woman becomes empowered financially, it doesn't take away from the man, rather it actually strengthens the partnership. If you look at it from that angle.
Yes.
But basically we are here to empower women. It's as much as it's a podcast talking about finances, as much as it's a podcast inclined towards women for women, it's not against men. It's also women for men, right?
Yeah, and somebody can argue and say, why not include men in these conversations? We have so many conversations on money that have, and they address both sides. And even a friend of mine and somebody very close to me saying that even it is most men that will be watching this, but we want to change that dogma. We want to say we are just calling to attention to the woman that is at home washing her dishes, to the woman that is at work, to the woman that has some money that she can spare, but she does not know what to do with it because she's never heard about investing, right? So we're just giving attention to that woman, like, hey, baby girl, even you can invest,
right?
Even you can grow your money, even you can grow your wealth.
So basically this is about collaboration, not competition, because an empowered woman empowers everyone, right?
True.
So up until that point, or rather on the same breath, let us dive into the topic of today. And our topic of the day is the myths around money, the myths holding women back from investing, from starting their journey towards financial independence, right?
Yes.
So,
but before that, remember we had a question?
We did.
Yes.
And you want to take us through that?
You can take us through the question. Maybe the question that I asked, then I'll take us through the answer.
Okay. So this answer is in regards to our last episode. We did ask what is your why? Why do you want to start your investment towards financial freedom, or rather towards financial independence? And we got quite some good feedback, and we are excited. We were excited to hear from you guys. Thank you for engaging with our content. We do not take it for granted. On the same breath, a comment from a beautiful young girl by the name, I want to assume she's a young girl,
Yes,
but
yes.
from a woman, right? Her name was Claire Molly.
Yes.
Right? Claire
Yes.
Molly. She was like, she wants to venture into the journey of financial independence because she wants to be free to travel anywhere around the world anytime. Right?
And that's even where I had to travel, Abby.
Right. Who doesn't want to travel?
So Molly, thank you for your answer.
Yes.
We are listening and we want to hear more from you.
Yes.
Right? Thank you guys for participating. Keep commenting, keep sharing what you're learning.
Yeah.
We want to connect with you. We want to see where you are at. Tell us where you are at, and keep answering the questions. Even at the end of this, we'll have a question. But
of course.
For now, let's get into it.
Okay, so today we are talking about something a little different, like I said, but it's super important at the same time. We are breaking down the biggest money myths that hold women back from real decisions. And at this point, the decision is your journey towards financial freedom as a woman, right?
Yes.
So, trust us when we say these myths are so deep, and sometimes we don't realize we are living by them, right? And if we want to be rich women in mindset and money, we've got to start with truth. True or false?
True.
That's the way to go. So our first myth, we are busting our first myth. And the first myth, I have a write-up, so that's why you see me looking down, on my... Yeah. So, on my you just call it Makenya. Yeah, so our first myth is talking about money is rude or greedy. Yeah, because we are taught to be humble, we are taught to be quiet, we are taught to be grateful for whatever we are given. And you're not saying it's bad to be grateful for whatever we're given, right? But this myth, most of the time, we are told because we... how do I put it? We are told, don't ask about money, don't talk about your salary, it's bad manners to bring it up, right? And as we grow up, we are treating money like a secret. Like the same way we were talking and you were saying, like, it's almost like, don't tell your husband how much you're earning. Like, don't tell your husband, don't talk about it, don't hide it, Feature kama bank. Okay, so in that regard, what would you like?
First, let's just take a moment to absorb that talking about money is rude or greedy.
Is it?
Yeah. And is it always bad being greedy? But anyway,
depends which angle.
It depends which angle.
Yeah,
but the thing is, we've been made to think that when we talk about money, mtu anaongea pesa must be very materialistic.
In fact, at that point, you're greedy.
Yes. Gold digger.
Yes.
Ongelea kitu kwa dates. Gold digger. But what you're trying to say is, we cannot know or we cannot progress in something we don't talk about. I remember there's a podcast I was watching, and this gentleman was talking about how society is where they are, like our generation gets it's to be contested, it's to be, but he was just saying basically he has noted that our generation does not know how to handle conflict.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And why do they not know how to handle conflict? Especially the generation of our mothers and fathers, is because the most important things in society we're told not to talk about. We're told not to talk about money, we're told not to talk about sex, we're told not to talk about this vital things that make up a society, that make up a human life. We were told not to talk about it. But they are real issues.
True.
They are real issues, right?
The same way money is a real issue.
Money is a real issue.
You don't know how to control money, it will control you. So we have to talk about it.
We have to talk about it. So let's get comfortable.
Yes.
Let's get comfortable talking about money.
Because talking about it isn't rude. Actually, it's very wise, because silence is how people get stuck. right?
Even unachomeka.
Right.
Even unachomeka.
Right. You get money and what do I do? I'm stuck. Where do I start? What do people do with money? Right? Because you were never taught about it. It was never talked about in the environments where we grew up in, right? So basically, it's almost like if you talk about it, you're greedy. But remember, when you get it, you get stuck. Because why? You were never taught about it. It was never talked about, right? So talk about it. It's wise to talk about money. It's wise to find yourself in places or environments where money is being discussed.
And even in the context of a relationship, your story, statistics have it. Most marriages break
because of finances.
Awogerere hii kitu na because awogerere because awogerere na kuna kuramba, you know. Because so you're there, let's say your husband has money. Yeah. You don't even know how much money he has.
Yes.
So you don't even know what to ask for. Let's say you are being provided for. Because you don't talk about money. It makes sense. Sad. Or he's struggling, or you're struggling with something financially, but you can't speak about it because talking about money is so weird.
Yeah. So basically what we are saying here right now is talk about money. And when we start speaking openly about money, something shifts. We become aware. We start asking the right questions.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Oh, Faith.
Yes, that's the truth. Let's talk ahead.
Okay, so we should stop settling.
Yes.
Let's talk. Let's have conversations about money. Period.
And that's on period.
Exactly. Moving on to the next myth that people talk about. People have. Yeah. A man will take care of me every time.
All the time.
Let's just say it, right? Depending on someone else for your future is a financial gamble.
Yeah.
And as human beings, our needs keep changing. As women, our needs keep changing. And depending on a man to actually, start providing for your needs every time they shift is setting up yourself in a place of vulnerability. And that means setting up yourself for disappointment. Right?
And I know this is a very contentious
topic
because we have our soft girls and soft era manenos, and we're not disputing that. Yeah.
Remember, it's about mindset.
What you're trying to say is it's a gamble, meaning it's not sure bet. Yeah. Ni kama nini. Like you don't know if you'll get if he will provide for you every time, all the time, for sure, or he won't.
And we are not negating that men are providers.
They are.
We are not negating that a man should provide for you, especially if he is your partner. Right?
Yeah, we're not. But it's as much. I remember somebody told me the money in his account is his money. At the end of the day, even if he's providing for you, he's sharing his money. Yeah. In as much as they say, oh, what is yours is mine. Yes, what is yours is mine. But the money in his account is his money. That he has an obligation, not a right. No one will take him to jail because he did not provide for your every need.
Exactly.
Right? And to most men, provision is just bills.
Yes.
My friend, ukishalipiwa rent, can you tell me the only thing you need as a woman is rent, electricity, and all those things?
Exactly.
No, there's so much more you need.
Personal needs.
Yeah. And he might provide, he might not provide. All we are saying is it's a gamble.
It's a gamble, right? So basically, it's not about rejecting support from a partner. It's about adding value to your partnership by also being financially empowered. So while at it, this is us empowering women that you see as a woman, when you're financially empowered, the partnership flourishes more, right? compared to you like gambling and depending on this man, right? And sometimes it even takes a toll on our men, Faith. Imagine getting to a place where you need even the simplest of things like sanitary towels, right? And if you are financially independent as a woman, we are not saying that it's bad for a man to get you sanitary towels, but depending on the headspace, like, or the financial capability of the man at that particular juncture. You understand? Maybe the man has so much in his plate, like it's too much, to an extent he doesn't even think of, my woman needs sanitary towels. Or maybe you have another child, an adolescent child, who is also on her. You see, I'm just citing this as an example. So it's your daughter and it's you, right? And remember, the man is the one providing everything, Faith, everything. You see, at this point, it's taking a toll on our men, right? I have to think about my wife and my child needs sanitary towel. We are not we are not asking men not to take these responsibilities, no. But we are just saying, let's help each other. And the only time we can get to that place is when we as women are also financially empowered.
Yeah, and to be financially empowered is just to be free. To like also have your own.
Yeah.
And I remember for me, I had a date some time back, and the man was paying for everything. Like literally, he wouldn't want to see my wallet. And being the baby girl that I am, I was like for it 100%. And then we go to a place where we had to pay for something. But all his cards declined out of a technical issue.
Oops.
And we had to pay at that moment.
Oops.
But I had some cash in my wallet, which I offered quickly that could fit for that. And then later on, he refunded back. But I'm imagining if I was only depending on him and I left my wallet at home, the way they advise some ladies, leave your wallet at home, then we would have had to be stranded there for some while. Wait. And I told Wendy, I used to be that type when I'm like, hey, he has to provide for me. If he can't provide for you, then let him go. Why are we together? But I came to understand that these men are also human beings.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And since they're human beings, they also have needs they're taking care of, and also
even they themselves have needs they need to take care of, right?
Family, especially when it comes to a man, you're taking care of yourself, you take care of your mom, you're taking care of your family, all those things, and he's taking care of you, yes. But now we're saying, being human, he might not be able to cover your every need.
Very important to put that out there. Every
need, yes. Every need, and every desire and want, and every, and sometimes it's not that he is not willing. I know our men who love us would like to give us the world, but sometimes too it just happens.
He's not able at that particular point, that particular season in his life.
Yes. But since you are financially free, all you have to do is just, no worries, get into your pocket and sort it out.
Exactly.
Right? So we're not saying now be this Miss Independent woman, I don't need a man. We're not saying that. We're not saying that. Yeah.
Exactly, like we said, it's a partnership.
It's a partnership.
Yeah.
All we're saying is, don't let him not be your only hope. Such that if this man would turn manipulative, or if this man would turn abusive, you have nowhere to go, nothing to do, right?
Nowhere to start from.
Yes, because let's not assume everyone is in a happy marriage. Not everyone is in a happy marriage.
Right.
And you don't get into marriage thinking, actually this marriage will break at a point.
Exactly.
Things
Nobody
happen.
gets into marriage thinking of divorce.
Yes. We always get in marriage saying and singing forever. But things happen along the way. Yeah. And last time we said, we even pointed scenarios. We said he might die, he might be sick, he might lose his job. So many things. And all we're saying is, do not let situation to leave you vulnerable. Ndo unasema guy nasingekuwa na kakitu kangu.
Yeah, where do I start?
Hapo ndo unafukuzwa, let's say unafukuzwa na unafukuzwa na nguo zako because there's nothing else.
Yes, that you have nothing to your name.
You have nothing like na hapo unabidi unarudi ushago. But there's this scenario where yes, let's say you've had a difference. You're also walking out with your own things and you're like you're free. You're free to choose the partner you have. You're free to move around. You're free to even, because me, I used to tell myself, yes, my hubby, let's say, will be providing everything. But maybe my kids, we are driving around and my kids feel like they want ice cream.
Oh yeah, I remember having that.
Yeah. So I'll be like, okay, here is some. Here is some money. Go get yourself ice cream, right? Instead of having to call Baba Nani.
Because basically the man is a provider. So it's like, si ni watoto wako, ni watoto wenu. So it's a partnership, mtoto si wa mwanamume peke yake, si wa mwanamke peke yake. It's a partnership, right? So not to dive out of the real conversation, right? Yeah. So can we jump into our next myth?
Yes.
You're done, dusted, said everything.
Definitely we'll continue unpacking.
Of course, right? As we go.
Yeah, as we go. But today we are busting just the myths.
The myths, yeah. So there's this other myth where religion tells you God will provide, so you don't feel the need to work for the money.
Trust in the Lord.
As a woman, go kneel on the altar. Acha uwekelewe mkono uombewe pesa itatokea somewhere miraculously.
Tunarusha mawe kwa police station.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's also a myth.
It's also a myth.
And it's a big myth. And
it's a big lie.
It's a big lie that has set many women up for failure and for, like Wendy said, when anytime you depend on somebody else, right? You are at a risk of disappointment, right? And this is when it comes to saying that God will provide. Let's just bring it in this context. God is our Father and He is a spiritual being.
Yes.
Right? And we are physical, we are in the world.
Yes.
And contrary to popular belief, I really try to.
I know you're trying to find the words.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the right words because I know there's some poor banning.
Yeah, like what do you mean? God will not provide? What do you mean? But calm down. We are having a conversation, and we are here to share with you the truths of how the financial world works, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you're saying something.
So let's look at it logically, right? So if God was providing, the Bible says God is a respecter of no man. That is in Acts 10.
Yes.
He's a respecter of no man. So truly, if God was to provide you with the money that you need, then none of us would be lacking in money.
True.
Let's just think about it. That would mean as long as you're a Christian, you would be swimming in money.
Yes, you would be asking, and God is like, yes, my daughter, yes, 1 million pa.
Yes, because the same Bible says He desires for you to prosper.
True.
So it's not a matter of Him wanting.
He desires.
He wills that you prosper.
But now, if we look at it in this context, God as a Father has given us the mind. He has given us the hands. He has given us the resources to explore and make this money. Because why? He understands so long as we live in this physical body, so long as we're on this place called earth, we need money to survive. And like we said in the last episode, money runs our what? Money runs our lives, right? So God has positioned you in a place where you have the mind to think of how to make this money. You also have the resources. Has God not done His part? Has He not played His part?
He has. And let's not mix. Okay.
Let's just
it's dangerous.
It's dangerous
to mix
religion
spiritual with physical. That's what is what is, let's call a spade and spade. What is spiritual is spiritual, what is physical
is physical.
Yeah. If like we said, if money was a spiritual thing, then every Christian would be filthy rich or holily rich.
Yes.
But since it is not a spiritual thing, that's why you can find a believer with billions. And you can also find
an unbeliever
with billions. At the same time, you can find a believer with nothing, poor to the core. And you can also find a non-believer with nothing. We have to let's think about it. So
and then this thing of money is wicked, money is evil, money is meant to hold you back from actually exploring your journey towards financial freedom. Money is not wicked. Money gives you the power of purchase. Money gives you the freedom to choose.
The Bible clearly says it is the love of money that is wicked.
It's wicked, right? But it's not that when you have money you're wicked, or when you're on your pursuit towards getting money you're wicked, or even as a Christian, because I believe even Christians are watching this. Even as a Christian, when you talk about money, you've derived from spirituality. You're walking in wickedness. No, we need to work to get that money. Period. Right? That said, we said a lot. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That said, let's jump into our next myth. Let us bust our next myth.
3.
Is it number 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 3, the third myth.
It's actually myth number 4, yeah? Sorry.
Oh, myth number 4. Okay. Myth number 4. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get it.
I'm just not good with money.
Yeah, I'm just not good with money. I need a lot. Is that different from?
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, because we have
I'm not just good with money. Yeah. So saying I'm not good with money is basically like saying I'm not good with driving when you've never taken your time to sit in a driving class and learn, okay, this is how a steering works, right? This is how, you fuel your car, right? This is when to stop. This is when to take a break. This is how to park. You cannot say you're not good with money when you've not given yourself a chance to learn about money. And I get it, we grow up in setups where money is not talked about, right? But now that we have this chance to learn about money, how about we stop saying we are not good with money and get ourselves as women in places where money is talked about, where finances are taught, right? That's why even in schools they offer business classes, because at that point you get to learn how the business world runs, right? And that entails money. So you get to what is this run? Let's
just shiver. Yeah.
So you get to learn about finances, right?
I'm not just good with money is a myth, because any pesa I dream to.
Of course.
Pesa I dream to. Whether umepata hiyo pesa by kuuza nyanya, umepata hiyo pesa by kuuza money, like God, money is not a respect of anybody. So if a man can handle money well, you can also handle money
as a
well.
woman, right?
Money is not only for the intelligent. Money is not only for the rich kids. We have had so many stories. Jimmy Waigigi. So many stories of people who came from nothing to something. Yeah? And all we are saying is
money doesn't care about masculinity.
Yes.
Doesn't care about whether you are
doesn't care about your gender.
As
long as you're able to be good with it, as long as you learn, it's a skill. You learn. Like she said, like driving is a skill that you learn. The same way men can drive cars and women can drive cars. The same way men can invest and women can invest. And that's why we love the investment world so much, because the investment world, and like jobs, jobs, we're still fighting as women to have equal pay in spaces. because there's a lot of contention and discussions around that, about women having equal pay. So there's still that mvrutano. Give me, I want and when we had the statistics about that, but we're gonna give that later. But when it comes to the investing world, kuna landlord na kuna landlady,
right?
Yeah. Kuna landlord, kuna landlady. Kuna mama kona shamba, kuna baba kona shamba. You just need to learn the skill. You just need to learn the game. They say don't hate the player. Yeah, just learn the game.
Just learn the game.
Just learn the game.
Yeah, right. So, like any other skill, money can be learned, right?
It can be.
So, just get yourself into the space of, I want to know what is it about this money, such that when you hear about budgeting, you say learnable. When you hear about investments, you say yes, learnable.
Preach.
I want to get myself to a class where investments are being talked about.
Preach.
Right? You hear about growing income, you say yes, that's learnable. It's the mindset, and once your mindset has shifted towards it's learnable, then you're able to learn about this money. So sis, don't disqualify yourself from financial greatness. Instead of saying I'm not good with money, start saying I'm becoming a rich woman, one smart move at a time.
Labda natuangalia ndio like mimi made sijui assault. So yes, even you you can learn this money, and even you can start from where you are. You can start from where you are.
Yes.
You don't. I love this quote. This woman, this is a woman billionaire. She'll say, I might not have come from a rich family, but a rich family will come from me.
Ooh, it's almost like just believe you deserve it, and then go for it.
Yes.
I love that.
And we're here for you. We're here for you. We are together in this journey, sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Pole
tu. Kama hujaelewa kitu unarudi kwa video unaisikia tena mpaka uelewe.
Even this is learning. Sitting here to talk about it, this is learning.
And this is a step you've taken.
Good. So on to the next. The other one is I need a lot of money to start investing. Ooh, this myth right here, it's been stopping so many of us from getting, started. We almost get into thinking, investing is only for people, in suits with 6 figures, like I have to have more for me to invest, right? Yes. But we are here to bust that myth. The truth is you don't need a lot. You just need to start. Like you said, a journey of 1,000 miles
begins with a step.
Exactly. So even small amounts can grow into something powerful with consistency, time, and the right mindset.
If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. But by all means, baby girl, start and move. Yes.
Of course. So there are women investing with as little as 500 shillings a month. You understand? That's less than what we sometimes spend on takeouts, right? On nails, right? It's not about how much, it's about how often and how intentional you are towards your journey to financial freedom, right?
Yeah. And that starts with financial literacy. Like you acquiring this knowledge, you being here listening to us, that's the first step.
Of course. So just start small, but start smart, right?
And keep going.
Keep going.
Yes,
read. Join investment clubs if you have to. Listen to podcasts like this ones if you have to.
And others,
right? Yes. So, of course, you plant your seed now, water it, watch it grow. Don't wait for the perfect amount, because wealth isn't built in one big step. It's built with intention. Intentional and consistent steps, right? Yes, so you don't need to be rich to start investing. And on that note, if you're listening to this and you've believed any of these myths we have talked about, we are here to say it's okay. We all have at some point. Maybe you want to share a myth, 1 or 2 myths you've believed so much. You want to share now that we're in the spirit of talking about myths?
Yeah, like for me, it was just I used to believe like, a man would take care of me.
Oh,
Yeah, we've passed that myth
every time.
So that's why I got like it really hit home when we were talking about it, because I remember I got to a space where I dated such a man. He had all the money and all those things, but then he could not know like all the things I wanted. And even maybe when I voiced them, they may have seemed maybe not that they may not have been as important to him as they were to me. So it just made me realize where a man is not in charge of my personal finances.
You are.
I am in charge of my finances. And it made me open my mind to start thinking, outside the box, and this got me to the journey of financial freedom, where I don't have to negotiate, because I found myself so many times using so much time trying to nitamuliza pesa aje, nitaanza aje,
nilimwomba jana
na
nikimwomba sana itakuwa
mingi lakini nataka ile ice cream, those things. So I just found myself like that's such an uncomfortable space for me. But I felt, okay, if I had my own money, I would even have the confidence to be like, "Hi, baby, I want this and this. I have this. Can you help me get this?" Yeah. So of course. That was my myth.
So we are here to say, if you've believed in any of these myths, it's not too late, right? Now that we have talked about them, you're not too small and you're not alone, right?
You haven't shared your myth.
I haven't shared mine.
Yes.
Oh, the biggest myth I had is I need a lot of money to start investing. I believed that for a long time until one time I tried with the little I had.
Hey.
Yeah. There's this point I was selling mitumba clothes, right? And I felt like for me to sell mitumba, I need a bill, right? And
12,000.
And bill needs. And imagine at the time, if you wanted like a good bill in inatoa stock mzuri, you need to have like 20,000 and above, right? But remember, I'm just a student. I've just finished I'm just from uni, and now I'm trying to, juggle between life and, find my grounding and all that, right? So 20K see now, you understand? So I'm like, where do I start from? So for a long time, I held myself back because I'm waiting for this 20K. But our financial status also at home cannot provide for me this 20K to start selling these mitumbas. Wow. You understand? So one day I just decided to go into a market with my 100 shillings. And I took like 3 pieces of clothes at 30 shillings. That is 30 bob is 30 Kenya shillings in Kenya shillings. Yes. And I took like 3 pieces of clothes. So I came home just to wash the clothes nicely, then ironed them. Then mom to my friend was like having dummies, because at some point she was also selling like clothes. So my mom called the friend and connections up pale, I got a dummy. Put the clothes nicely on a dummy and sold them 5 times what I bought.
Wow.
They would 5 times the original price. I bought it for 30 bob, and if I'm selling it for 5 times, that's like 150, yes. Right? So 150 for all the 4 clothes. And I'm like, so this thing is possible. I don't have to get a bill or so much money for me to start. So I started with my 100 shillings, right? Yeah. And the business grew and grew and grew from 100 bob to now the 20,000, where I could now get bills, right? Like enough clothes too.
Yeah, so that was just a myth.
It was just a myth. And I realized, we've been lied to. I don't have to get millions for me to start. So yeah, so it's possible.
It is.
It's possible, right? Of course. So you can share with us the myths that you've believed in for a long time. And yes, let's have a discussion about it. Let's talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Because from there, we say that is where we learn and relearn, right?
Yes.
So this week, your Rich Woman Challenge is write down one money myth you've believed and replace it with truth. And I'm going to cite an example. So, for example, the myth you believed in is, I'm not good with money. That's a myth. Now replace it with the truth. And the truth is, I'm learning to manage my money wisely.
Amen.
Right? So you're busting a myth with a truth. So you can write that also on the comment section. Write a myth you've believed in. As you write your myth, bust it with a truth, right? And when you bust it into a truth, when you bust it with a truth, believe you me, it shifts into reality, and then you begin your journey towards financial freedom, financial independence.
Yes. If this episode helped you, please share with the woman that you love. We are just about giving awareness.
Yes.
You might not need it. Maybe you feel like you're okay. But just shoot it. Because someone the way pastor and preach and say, "Ini ya nani? Ini ya shiko, ini ya wambo, wapi wendi, ini yake." So the same way, just share to the woman that you know would benefit from this, and let's continue breaking these myths. If you have insight on the myths that you have, let's share, let's talk, let's comment, let's make it live with the people.
Of course. So where can they find us on social media, right? Do you want me to share?
Yeah.
Okay. So on Facebook we are
Rich Money Moves, the Rich Woman Way.
Yeah. Of course, on TikTok. On TikTok the same.
Yes.
Money Moves, the Rich Woman Way.
Yes.
On Instagram, Money Moves, the Rich Woman Way.
Yes.
On email, the richwomanway 33 at gmail.com. Right?
Yeah.
What's up with you? This Kikuyu accent today.
You know, you can't think about money and don't think about Kikuyu. So I think I'm getting it to the point.
Okay.
Get it right, maneno.
Okay. So, of course, on the same breath, if you maybe want to find us on our personal socials, I'm Wendy KE on all social media platforms, and you are?
I am
Fariba 5-star on Instagram.
Yes. Faith Baraka on Facebook. Starlene on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes.
And on the same breath, we have come to the end of the session. I know, sorry. But we will meet again. It's not the last, it's not the first, it's not the last. We'll still meet. So let's build wealth together. Subscribe and join the movement. And until next time, I was your host, Wendy KE.
And I, Starlene Baraka.
Bye.
Wakanda forever.
Bye.